Hey, this is Jake with the Tattoo Improvement Network. Be sure to join us for the first annual Space City Tattoo Expo, February 19th through 21st in Huntsville, Alabama. Check it out at spacecitytattooexpo.com.
Hey, welcome back. We're still at the Star of Texas Tattoo Art Revival, and super excited to have Aaron Springs here. I followed Aaron's work for quite a while. Really like it a lot.
Great work.
So we're gonna just pick up where we just left off in mid-conversation. So you said you're just getting started traveling?
Yeah, this year, and I traveled a little bit last year, but not much as I wanted to. And mainly this year and next year are gonna be pretty wild.
Yeah, a lot. So we were just talking about you've been tattooed by people like Victor Chill, Timmy B, stylistically very similar to what you do.
Sure.
So that stuff is, obviously just being around those guys takes you to another level, huh?
It's the best, yeah. Fucking like Victor is crazy. That dude is an animal.
Where is he from?
Barcelona,
okay.
Spain.
I knew he was from
Spain. He's super intense. He's like, when you see his sketch for like his tattoo, it's insane. You're like, I don't know if I'm ready for this to go on my body for the rest of my life, but you can tell it's cool, you know. But it's just so crazy how confident that dude is, you know what I'm saying?
So his sketch is very minimal.
Oh, it's like looks like. It looks awesome if Victor's watching this. It looks fucking badass. But you're like, dude, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? He's like, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be cool. And I'm like, yeah, all right, dude, rock and roll. If it's just, everything he does is so sick, but he's just like so confident. You know what I'm saying? That's the coolest part about like Victor, like learning from him. Like, that dude just don't give a fuck, you know. And that's what it comes down to is like, you got to be confident with your shit and your decisions, and like that dude has got like all that shit, you know. So it's pretty crazy.
Well, one thing that I think you included, and both of those guys, Timmy and Victor, have the style that you're working in. A lot of people are working in, but you all three get a very kind of like atmospheric effect, like through. You know, like almost like a soft focus and then very bold line and the way that it falls out. And I think that I guess that's kind of part of the style, but I think you guys execute it really well. You know what I'm talking about?
Touchy subject. Huh? Yeah, it's the touchy subject between where is the okay boundary between realism and new school and traditional, and they're trying to find that good balance of a tattoo and what's acceptable for people that know about tattoos and what makes a good tattoo. You know, it's difficult. So it's like a learning thing. That's what's cool being about a tattooer right now is that we're like finding out a lot of shit about that. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like really fortunate. Well, of course, like people before us, like Nick Baxter and like Jeff Ensmere, kind of like paved the way. I feel for us. But we're still like we're fucking. It's an equation we're trying to figure out. You know what I'm saying? And it's pretty cool to be a part of. The boundary between like thick, nice, bold lines. I like to put like both in mind, you know? I like I love line work, you know? Me and Compton were just talking about that just a while ago. I love line work, but I also love like subtleness, you know, like a painterly approach to something that might be more in the background. It's a fun thing to look at, you know? But I also fucking love traditional too, man. I just love something that's just the motherfucker ain't gonna go away forever. So trying to find that good balance and right between those two. Did I answer your question?
Absolutely.
That's it, man. Good meeting between them.
That's it.
I think that is, and it's that newer group starting probably with Nick and Jeff, like you mentioned, and going forward. Who are we just talking to? They've been Zulu. They've been tattooing for so long. It's like the thing about this newer generation is that they weren't held accountable to the same old rules that we were held accountable to in the
can break
80s and
them all,
90s.
redefine
Like, you know,
them.
they decided to just start testing that. And be like, oh, do I really have to have all my lines perfect before I start color? Can I come back in line at the end, or do I always have to work dark to light? Can I just pepper some of these darks back into it? Back when we both started in the mid 90s, you didn't question that kind of shit because the people before you were hard nosed and they just said, this is the way you put a tattoo in.
Right.
And then that next generation, I think kind of starting around with Nick, you saw, well, Guy was going all over the place.
Guys like,
Yeah.
what could you compare Guy as to like some other kind of? He's like, I don't know. He's like H.R. Giger.
He is,
you know?
yeah. He was way before his time as far as his approach.
Dude is fucking crazy.
Yeah. So what do you, just to jump around, what about your ideas on color? Because you've got some really interesting color.
I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I mean, that's what it comes down to.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Are you just
I really
inventing it every time?
No, yeah, just completely winging it. I like try to stick with like a palette that I know works, you know, and I try to not take too many chances, but at the same time, I'm like, hey, look at this fucking shit. Let's put this on and see what happens, you know? And like, if you got to bail ship, you got to bail ship, you know? But yeah, just try to stick with it. And that kind of refines, I think, as you get more experience. You stick with the palette that you know that works, and every now and then you throw some fucking Liz Cook bubble gum or some shit in there, and you're like, let's see what shit happens, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Do you use? So you don't use a very limited palette. You just try out new things all the time.
It's fucking 75 caps out on the table. It's ridiculous.
Wow.
No, but I try to keep it. I try to keep it minimum, but I just pour some shit out and have fun with it, you know? People get too caught up in like, oh, you only have fucking 6 caps, bro. If you can't do it with 6 caps, you know? It's just like, shut up, dude. You know, like, who made you the president of this situation? You know, just fucking have fun. Timmy B, dude, and it's like, this dude's mixing up shit, man. He just has fun with it, you know. And I think that's what's important.
He uses a really wide palette like you? I mean, tons of color.
No, he uses what he knows, but he's always like pre-mixing colors or something that he knows is gonna work or that he wants to try out. And we're always just like talking about. It's fucking super nerdy, you know. Like every day, like, have you tried mixing this with this?
Right. Well, yeah, no, that's crazy. I would have I mean, just because you have color is such a huge part of your work, I would have assumed. What was your background in art before?
Oh, Jesus, we're getting into the fucking weeds here, bro.
I mean, what?
You want the long story or the short story?
Man, you just go.
Okay. So I was a piece of shit for a long time. Okay, so I'm 34 now. I started tattooing technically when I was 30 years old. So I've been tattooing for 4 years.
Wow.
I got my first tattoo when I was 30. I'm like the new Bob Tyrell. And I went to art school when I got out of high school, but I was fucked up, dude. I was just every which direction, you know what I'm saying? And I had like a real bad problem with authority. So I went to art school in California for like 6 months, and then I had to come home because I just couldn't get my shit together. And then I tried to go into art school in Houston. I couldn't do that. And then I just said, fuck it, I'm gonna not do art anymore and try to go to work. And I couldn't hold a job. I had like 17 jobs in 2 months or something.
Wow.
And
what was the issue?
This is about to get crazy on you. So I realized I had a problem, right? As I had a problem with authority. I can't fucking take no for an answer. I can't whatever, you know.
No direction.
So I need to go to the military or the police academy. And we're in the middle of a war at the time.
Yeah.
I'm a pussy. And I'm like, no, I'm not having that. So I went to the police academy. So I've been a police officer for the last 10 years.
Wow.
So I'm also a police officer. Well,
Really?
I was a police officer. Sorry, I'm still used to saying that. I turned in my badge like 3 months ago. Yeah, I worked for. So at that point,
were you tattooing and?
No.
Okay.
I had I learned how to tattoo somewhere in like 2003. Just some dude just kind of showed me in a shop, and I just kind of bought like a kit out of a magazine or some shit, and I tattooed like butterflies and like I didn't even have a tattoo, but I was like, it was forewarning. I'm like, yo, dude, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, but if you guys want me to draw on you, I'll make this shit happen.
Right.
And I guess I got like 50 tattoos and whatnot. Anyways, yeah, so I went to and I got my bachelor's. I knew being a police officer wasn't what I wanted to do like out of the gates. So I kind of went back into school and worked as a police officer full time until I got my bachelor's degree in business management. And then when I started practicing in my bachelor's degree, I started taking like life drawing again and shit like that. And I could tell I was getting like reinvigorated with my art. And then some crazy shit. This is a really fucking long story. I'm sorry.
No, go for it. I love it.
And so I went back to a reserve officer at the very end of my bachelor's degree. And then I had a really bad motorcycle accident. I had 13 surgeries to save my left leg.
Oh, God.
Yeah, so they took all the muscle from my back to reconstruct the front.
Oh, God.
And I acquired $1.5 million in medical debt. So the first $1 million, this is all going somewhere, I promise. The first $1 million they wrote off because I was a full-time student.
Really?
Yeah, very cool. Very cool, right? Yeah,
This is in what state?
This is Texas.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, it's Houston. And
Never thought it.
yeah, I graduated, and then I ended up having more complications. I had to go back to the hospital, and I racked up another $500,000 in medical debt. By that time, I had graduated, and I got stuck with a tab, and it was something that wasn't even my fault. And I was like, fuck, you can apply for like a charity application and get all that debt written off. But I knew that I couldn't just go back to work. I was going to get stuck with this tab. And I was like, man, fuck that, dude. This shit wasn't my fault, you know? And my friend owned a tattoo shop, and he was just like, dude, why don't you just come do some tattoos? I mean, I've seen you do some bullshit tattoos. You're good enough, you know? And I'm all right. And so I stayed underneath the fucking tax radar to fuck the man, you know, because that guy was trying to fuck me.
Right.
And then, I just started tattooing, and I fell in love with my fucking art all over again.
Wow.
And it's my favorite story that I have.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So that accident was in what year?
In 2010, March 2010. Yeah.
So you were not, and you weren't tattooing at all at that point?
No, I was
nothing,
a full-time cop and a full-time, part-time cop, going to school.
Amazing.
I thought I was going to go into like the business field or some shit.
Right.
How in
Well,
your...
you still can.
Yeah, I guess you're still good.
No,
It's
I
like
have no desire. There's no way that's gonna fucking happen after my life, and this is like the coolest fucking job ever.
Yeah.
I'm so stoked. If you believed in like fate and all that horse shit, like that's what this story is. But I don't.
Do you have any idea how someone like yourself, and it's this generation of tattooers that have the idea that you have come from starting 4 years ago to the tattoos that you're doing today is mind blowing to me, because I still don't do. I've been tattooing 20 years. I still don't do tattoos like you. How does that happen?
Good teachers.
Yeah?
Good teachers. I got super fucking fortunate in the place that I lived. I remember Abel Sanchez was the first dude I had found, and like I was like just online looking at tattoos, and I'm like, man, this dude lives like across the street. Yeah. And I was like, I'm gonna go fucking holler at this dude and say what's up, and just chill and hang out. And then the next thing I know, like he's working with Sean Will and fucking Stephen Compton and Remo Grilli. I don't know if you're that dude, and these dudes are fucking just powerhouses, and they all live right around the fucking corner. And I'm like, dude, that's what, and then they showed me like Nick's and Jeff's shit and all that stuff. I'm like, that's what I want to fucking do with my life right there, you know? I'm like, that's what I want to do.
So it was just kind of trial by fire.
At that time, I'm like 30 years old, you know? It's like, I need to fucking go all in, you know, and fucking try as hard as I can and make that shit happen, or fucking go work in a cubicle somewhere, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I was like, fuck it. I'm 30, I'm relatively still young, and I just fucking worked my ass off. Yeah. And then I worked with these dudes, and it's a mix between that and then like the evolution, like tattooing is growing, you know, and we're all the ease, the accessibility for information is way more available, you know. Right. It's not that shit when 20 years ago you weren't even there wasn't even a MySpace yet, you know?
No, there was nothing. I didn't have a computer whenever I started tattooing.
Yeah, now I can just do this, and I'm like, that's a good tattoo. Well, my shit doesn't look like that, so maybe I should keep working.
Right. And it just pops up for you.
It pops up for you.
Right.
Amazing.
You said you'd gotten into some life drawing and stuff. Do you do a lot of work from life, or are you drawing a lot out of your head, or is it a combination?
Yeah, as far as the tattoos goes, it's just usually what the client wants, and and I just try to kind of meet halfway. Let me do something cool and whatever.
But as far as what you use for reference, do you tend to use life or photographic reference?
Right, yeah, Google Images is like my shit.
Gotcha.
Need to get off that.
Yeah, no, man, it's
a bunch of people with Google Images tattoos out there.
Yeah,
it's terrible.
Well, so many people will, for example, people that want a tattoo like you will look at your tattoos and draw tattoos from your tattoos. And we always talk about trying to get yourself in get together with a group and draw from life every once in a while, or once a week, or just
even talked about y'all really pushing each other in the shop too. That's just having that opportunity to be like.
Y'all talk with him too?
We talked with him yesterday. Yeah.
snap. Cool.
Yeah, he was a great guy. It's the first time I ever met him. Nice guy. We actually did an episode with Compton a year or two ago that we had a corrupt file and never aired. So I need to catch him again. But yeah, we talk about that a lot because you end up with people making stylized drawings from other stylized drawings and so you can end up overly influenced by the people that influence you.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, for sure.
And so that's why I was curious.
Every fucking day, like, this looks like Sean. For me personally, it's like, this looks like Sean shit. And Jeff shit. Jeff's like, you know, when he used to do like more new school.
Yeah.
All the time, and those are your biggest inspirations. But you grow out of that, you know. You gotta like not fucking let that shit get you down. You're gonna be influenced by it. And for some reason, in the art, in the art field, it's weird. You know, it's like it's a bad thing. Yeah. And it's just like, where did these people get influenced, or where did this all come from? You don't run into that in any other profession. Right. And you know, creativity comes from everywhere. It's inspired from everywhere. And you try to do your own thing for sure, you know. And if it's obviously influenced heavily by somebody, you try to give that guy props for it, or but all that shit goes away, and you can't get sucked into that fucking that field of horse shit, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I see so many artists like, and I know because I did it. You know, you just fucking kill yourself. Like, it looks like this person. It looks like this person. And fuck that.
Just
you know?
have to
do what you do. Yeah, I mean, you learn and grow with each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're new school. Like, that's a genre of tattooing. You know what I'm saying? It's like traditional. Like, it's like saying like all traditional looks the same. You know what I'm saying? It's just a genre of tattooing.
Yeah, we talked a little bit with Abel about that yesterday, and about how with so many people doing stylistically similar work, and how
the style,
right,
yeah,
and how do you find your own voice, or how do you separate yourself? And he had a really simple idea. He was like, you know, if you take a lot of our stuff and turn it into grayscale, all of our drawings look really similar. He's like, I'm just trying to find a color palette for me that I think is unique that no one else is using.
Right,
he's like, so really, he's like, you're almost like grasping at straws at that point. Like, how do I find something that sets me apart from that person? But your outlook on it is like, man, just let it be whatever it is.
Yeah, it'll come, you know, just keep rocking.
Yeah.
Just fucking, you know, that shit will come out.
Yeah.
You're going to come out in your work eventually, whether you like it or not, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, if you just put in the work.
Just the time you learn to embrace that shit. And like Nathan Evans, you know Nathan Evans?
Yeah.
Weirdest fucking shit I've ever seen in my life, and I love it.
Yeah.
Because it's, you know, that's one of the best thing he's got from him is originality, and he just ran with that shit, you know? Exact Singer, another, like, just super interesting looking artwork, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's who he is.
What, anything in particular 4 years in that you find that you're still struggling with? Technically you're very solid. Is there anything that you...
There's always room for improvement in everything.
Anything in particular that you see yourself that kind of nags at you these days?
Flow is, you know, really important. Sometimes, like, I draw like very, you can tell that I think I have a heavier background in like realism, and so I feel like sometimes my stuff is a little too stiff, you know, like it could be a little bit looser sometimes, you know what I'm saying? And so I come from a background that's very like, I'm gonna look at this and draw it, you know what I'm saying? And like trying to find the mix between that and like letting that shit go, you know? Like Sean Will is the best at that shit. Just fucking just looks at it and you're like, it's harmony. You know, that's what Victor says. The flow doesn't have harmony. That's the tightest shit I've ever heard in my life. He said, "He said harmony." I was like, I haven't even heard that word forever.
So like compositionally, just like the way that the tattoo moves on the body, the way that you've structured it.
Comes back to confidence. You know, being confident and knowing and seeing what's in your head, but understanding at the same time. You know, like not knowing that like everything can't go one way. It's got to sometimes change the position and break the monotony. And trying to find like the good balance in that. This piece has got to have harmony. It really is the best word for it. And if you see any kind of like hiccups in there, you feel that shit, and it holds you back from looking at it.
Well, one thing that I think all you guys at Red Dagger do a great job of is we talk a lot about establishing a hierarchy, like within the composition, like what, like leading people's eyes, like what do you want them to see first in this composition, and making sure that all the other elements really like complement that. Complement that element. One thing you see a lot of people, especially working in that, well, not just new school style, any stylistically, is like they have all these competing elements, things that are similarly valued or similar values, similar sizes, similar. And so you're like, when you look at it, you're like, what am I supposed to look at in this?
Right.
Everything looks.
It's a little contrast. You really can't tell. Where the darks lines
And
begin
I think that kind of goes in with flow, because like when you can lead someone's eye through by immediately, like when I look at your tattoos, I know exactly what I'm supposed to see first, and then I can kind of move out of it from there.
That's a difficult animal, man. You gotta. A lot of it comes down to psychology of color too. You know what I'm saying? Like the composition, that's important. But like I never knew about like temperatures, like color temperatures, and like warm comes out at you. If you know Andreas.
Yeah.
He's a fucking master at that shit.
Yeah.
That dude taught me more about tattooing than pretty much anybody that I've met. And that dude's all natural. I never had anybody to teach him anything. That dude taught me a lot about like, warm stuff coming out like at you and then like how those make you feel too. And if you understand that, you can kind of like try to incorporate that into your piece somehow. Like I want this bee's head to come at me, so this shit needs to be like warm and vibrant, and not cool or something.
Yeah, and so you'll drop cools in the background to recede a little bit, same thing.
I'm still trying to figure that shit out.
You're. It's funny because you understand it intuitively. I think. That's a rare thing. I think that's a rare thing. I've never met Andreas, but I love his work, and he's tattooing with Nick now. Up here.
Nick tattoos like twice a month.
Right.
I met him. I was at Shaman 2 days before this.
Oh, okay.
I was tattooing there, and I met him, and I was like, "Hey, Jesus!" He was just like, "What's up?" And I'm like, "Oh no, you're just like Jesus to me. I just want to let you know." And I was like, "I come from you." You know what I'm saying? Like, you're the father of everything.
Nick did a guest spot at our shop at Underground in the early 2000s, I think it was, and he had just gotten it was before he had really started building all that textural stuff. He had gotten famous for these chairs. Did you see these chairs that he did? There was like a sleeve of these like different contemporary looking chairs.
Beautiful chairs.
Yeah, they were awesome, but nothing
I think it strikes me.
You would never guess he would have done it, but I mean, it was before he had really developed into what he is now. But he was obviously awesome, and he came in and did a guest spot and didn't have a lot of tattoos to do. He actually did this acorn on my hand at that time.
I've seen some texture. I was like, damn, who did that? I remember that shit online. It's like fire leaf looking stuff. Right?
Yeah. So he did that back then. He's reworked it since then, but and just to see, like, my God, he went into the stratosphere after that, and now the people. Yeah,
dude, I just spent like 2 days staring at his paintings. I mean, they're just in a different realm of.
Yeah, they really are.
I don't think I'll ever get. You always feel like, man, I don't think I could ever do that.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
He's doing some crazy stuff. What about outside of drawing for tattoos? Are you painting?
You paint it all on the side or anything?
Man, I want to.
Yeah.
It's just hard to find the time.
Yeah.
I definitely want to, at some point in my career, devote more time to painting. Because it's like super good for your tattooing and whatnot.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. We've talked to a handful of people just this weekend about what painting brings to their tattooing, and all of them talk about how color mixing, understanding value, things like that. How paint is the perfect medium to work that kind of stuff out.
Yeah, for sure.
Because it's so very much drawing.
Yeah, and it's so forgiving as well. So you're happy?
Got me thinking about it right now. I'm like, fucking like mixing the paint and shit. I'm like, man.
It's I mean, and painting will just consume your life too if you let it. I mean, it's you look back and some of the smartest people that have ever lived have spent their whole lives painting. It's oil painting in particular. You just it's amazing that something like that can like capture someone and hold them for their entire lives. They do it as kids and they die doing it. There aren't a whole lot of things that
I understand it. It's like very, very peaceful.
Yeah.
Like, once you get into it.
Right. What where do you see going from here? Are you happy with stylistically with what you're doing? You like Houston?
Yeah, I like Houston. I love my family. Like these dudes are like my family now. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I grew up there, so I have like a lot of friends. So it's really hard for me to like think about leaving at all ever. So Houston's probably it for me.
Yeah, pretty good tattoo community there.
Yeah. There's shitloads of people. I think it's like the fourth largest
huge
city in the world. So there's shitloads of knuckleheads.
Yeah. Well, awesome.
Yeah, I love it.
No,
As far as I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Yeah.
I just noticed you don't have a lot of work. You working on
I
that now
don't.
too? Is that what you're?
Yeah,
you do,
on me.
Yeah.
You're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I got my first tattoo when I was 30, so
Right.
I'm trying to catch
Perfect.
up. You know, it's just
Man.
like.
Well, you've got some.
You're off
good
to a
ones
good
on-
start.
It
Yeah.
sucks. I know. I'm very fortunate now that I know.
Well, you didn't make some bad mistakes. We see people all the time that have to go back and
but the
fix
bad
those.
mistakes, those are the funny fucking tattoos. You know what I'm saying? Like, God, those things make me laugh so hard. Like Nick, he has the flames,
yeah,
on,
the
his
flames
arm.
on his
I
arm.
just totally called him out. We went to dinner and he was just chilling. I'm like, damn, look at those fucking flames. And he was just like, thanks, bro. Thanks. And he was like, they're in the middle of being lasered. I was like, fucking hell no, you need to rework them motherfuckers. Get that bitch flamed up.
Yeah, just solid black behind them. It's
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah, and you know, whoever did that, I don't even know who did that tattoo. Whoever did it now is like, I can't believe I
did
put that.
shit. He's
Can't
so
believe I
pumped.
put that.
Yo, I would be fucking ants.
You'd be
I was like,
excited about
I
it?
fucked that dude up so hard. Oh man, I'm so happy right now.
So good.
Oh man.
Yeah, exactly. Nick Baxter will forever be known as for my shitty tattoos.
Yeah.
that I
Sure.
Put, man, well, awesome. Dude, this is great. Thanks for coming on.
No problem,
appreciate
man.
it,
No problem at all.
Well,
Really.
if
Thanks
people,
a lot. Thank you
you're
so
still
much.
taking,
Appreciate it. Thank you.
you're still taking
Thanks,
new, you're still taking appointments and stuff, right?
Yeah. I only book for like 2 months at a time
Okay.
because I try to travel and I don't know where I'm
you're
might
gonna
be.
be.
And yeah.
Where's the
just
best way for people to find you if they don't already know you?
AaronSprings.com.
AaronSprings.com. They
That's
can
it.
schedule appointments through email.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right.
Shoot me an email. And
Yeah, I'm sure most of you guys know him. If you don't, be sure to follow him. Follow his Instagram, man. It's beautiful, beautiful work.
thank
so,
you. Thank you
thanks.
so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
All right.
Sweet, man. Thanks.
No problem, dude.
Really appreciate it, man.
No problem, dude. It's awesome. It's way more relaxing than I thought it was going to be.
Perfect.
Yeah. Cool. Hey, thanks again.
Thank you so much.
Thanks so much, man. I'll see you guys.